We have shown you a number of BFA components for the BFA large frame motor on this channel here recently. In the meantime, we've gone to 2020 and my desk is covered with work, with tons of notes, and there is a risk I may be bored this coming summer. Two excellent reasons to bugger off to the workshop and to start a new project. Since the BFA 306 engine last year was so much fun, I have decided I need one like that too. I'd like to have you join me in the making of this engine here in this video. And as with all projects these days, this one too starts on a computer. I'm on the SIP website, the SIP web shop, and I'm starting to add all the components I need for this engine to the shopping cart. If you want to check this out, you will later find the card in the description of this video or in the download section of the individual articles. If you start your BFA motor from scratch, then choosing the tuning kit is a good idea. This kit already contains the most relevant parts you need to build a BFA engine. That's, for a start, the crankcase, of course, then the massive crankshaft, the 306 barrel, and the lovely BFA clutch. Next thing you need to build the engine is a gearbox. We've made this easier, so that you do not have to pick and choose all bits and pieces for building the motor. We have prepared a few different gearboxes with a choice of gearings as suggestions for what you could very well use in this type of motor. Variations of our Zebib or gearboxes. These are gearboxes I would recommend because they are made from extremely high quality components. It starts with a strong shaft, with the Krematz driven shaft, which is particularly easy to fit, depending on the version, either with Krematz or with the RT loose gears, with their super strong SIP BFA cruciform. For the engine I want to build, I will go for the road version. Next, the ignition. I'd recommend our SIP Performance ignition by Vape. There is a special version for the 306 engine. This became necessary because the 306 motor's transfers are so large that we had to modify the flywheel at its outer parameter to make sure it clears the transfers. We have also lightened the flywheel to have the bulk of the weight of the crankshaft where it should be. That's between the bearings and not outside on the flywheel. Also important are the lay shaft and the brake cam. Both are pretty much standard P-range parts, albeit slightly shortened to make them fit the BFA motor. Either buy these ready to fit in our shop or modify existing parts yourself. How much both need to be shortened is listed in the fitting instruction that comes with the BFA engine. A rather boring but still extremely relevant part of the engine is the brake drum. My recommendation absolutely is the SIP rear brake drum. It's a modified, high-quality Piaggio brake drum, an EFL type to be precise. Originally, without the sealing surface for an oil seal, we added a race for the oil seal, and now we have a brake drum available on the market, which is both very reliable and of high quality. There are a few other bits and pieces which are Piaggio really, but which require minor modifications to be used in the BFA motor. That's a kickstart gear for a start, which is machined. We have that ready to fit. I'll add that to the cart. Other than that, we have the kickstart, which is modified to better fit into the tight space around the bolt. I will choose the rally version. You need to take care with the P-range version. With this, it is possible that the upper band of the kickstart occasionally touches the lowest flywheel cover bolt. Now I have everything in my cart and will place the order. I'll just go down to catch the postman so that I can then show you how things continue with the motor. Hi Ollie, is there a parcel for me? I'll check. Here it is. Let's have it. Excellent, thanks. Okay, so let's unbox everything. We have now unpacked the SIP parcels. Here, on the table, we should have everything I've put into the shopping cart earlier. I hope I didn't forget anything. With the parts which you see here, it should be possible to build up a complete SIP BFA 306 engine. I'll start with the bit for which there was no space left on the table. That's the 306 BFA exhaust. As you can see, it is a lovely quality piece of kit, made up of loads of segments, and of course, it sports a large, big volume belly. That's always difficult to stow away underneath a scooter, but BFA solved that rather nicely. The belly sits in the center line exactly. That means still have maximum lean angle. Next thing is the crankcase, the heart of the build, of course. It comes with an assortment of bolts and bolt-on pieces. Here are a number of original Piaggio parts, which we need for the cooling, a slightly modified kickstart to fit the BFA engine case. Here's the inlet manifold with the reed valve. And this is maybe one of the most important components in the SIP BFA motor, the extremely substantial and heavy crankshaft with the splines for the clutch. Very strong to make sure it will survive the stresses it will be subjected to in the motor. And a really important advantage, it makes the engine run very smoothly. What else do we have? Here's the 306 cylinder kit with its huge transfer port system and the forged piston, 78mm bore size. The BFA clutch you have seen already. Here is a special version of the SIP Vape ignition with a slightly modified fan. As you can see, it firstly has been lightened and secondly it is slightly shallower. That's how it fits the huge transfers of the 306 motor. What else do we have? Here is a number of small bits and pieces, a gear selector box. For the video, I have chosen an original one. My recommendation if you want to play it safe would be the Motorino Diablo selector box, which virtually eliminates missing gears. Then there's the Serie Pro brake drum, which in my opinion is the best quality you can get, to make sure the tire connects properly with the engine. The last thing I want to show you is the gearbox, which I have put on the table here. This is our Serie Pro gearbox, the road version, to be more precise. And it contains a number of rather interesting components. First, there is the reinforced main shaft. As you can see, it is a much larger diameter, which means it is less prone to flexing. Apart from that, all the tolerances have been made use of to the max to make sure the contact area to the brake drum is as large as possible. The material was, of course, also chosen with care, so it's a nice upgrade for the drive. Then, I have a DRT gearbox in the set. Made of steel, DRT themselves call F1 steel. Whatever that may be, it works a treat. Then there is the lay shaft by Kremans. The thing that's special about this lay shaft is the cush drive and the primary gear. Very easy to fit, with bolts. That works really well. Included with the kit there is a complete set of different shims to shim the gearbox nice and accurate. Last, not least, our SIP BFA cruciform. Not cheap, mind you, but then it is excellent quality indeed, and it is among the highest stressed components in the motor. I think this is money well spent. That's pretty much it. I guess most of the parts we will have a closer look at anyway, once I put the engine together. Next thing will be fitting the bearings to the engine case and bolting the bits and pieces into their final position. If you enjoyed this, I hope you will watch the next part. To make sure you don't miss it, press the bell. See you next time.